Welcome to the first service at Morganville Baptist Church. This week we're beginning a new sermon series of Where in the Bible. And today we'll be looking at Jerusalem. We'll each week be looking at a biblical location. We'll sometimes be looking at when. When did this occur? But every week we'll be looking at what biblical passage is linked to this location and what does God want us to know from His Word. So it's a good way to think in our minds both of where and when, but more importantly, what God is teaching us in His Word. Today we'll be looking at Jerusalem. This week you can look in the back of your Bible, at the atlas in the back of your Bible, or a separate atlas, or even look it up online. Some of the weeks we'll actually have maps to work with these when we're looking at very specific areas from God's Word. Today we are looking at Jerusalem. Our passage for today, linked with Jerusalem, is Mark, the first chapter, verse 5. And all the country of Judea was going out to him, and all the people of Jerusalem, and they were being baptized by him in the Jordan River, confessing their sins. Jerusalem is the capital of Israel, established centuries ago. It is also the home of the temple. The tabernacle was moved, of course, through the wilderness. Its first permanent site of the tabernacle was Shiloh, but for the temple, it was built in Jerusalem and rebuilt in Jerusalem, and someday in the future will be rebuilt yet again. The Jewish community in the Old Covenant was required to make regular pilgrimages to worship God at the temple in Jerusalem. These were the original pilgrims. When we say the word pilgrim in the United States, we think of the Mayflower, and some will even think of John Wayne references to pilgrim. As far as church history, we think of Pilgrim's Progress for John Bunyan's work and our walk with the Lord. Many uses and applications of pilgrim, but in the Old Covenant, pilgrim were those under the Old Covenant going to Jerusalem to the temple to regularly worship God at the required times. Notice many of the references of going to the temple, to Jerusalem. They reference going up to Jerusalem. The elevation of Jerusalem is around 2,500 feet. In some states, that doesn't seem like a lot, but here in Morgan Mill, our elevation is around plus or minus 1,000 feet. And even here, we have some very nice, sometimes some very impressive hills, even around us at 1,000 feet. But those in the pilgrimage Psalms, they were going up to Jerusalem. Many of them lived lower than 1,000 feet, and Jerusalem, around 2,500 feet, was indeed going up into the mountains for them. One of my favorite pilgrimage psalms is the 121st Psalm. And you will see some of that aspects of the elevation in Jerusalem in that psalm. 121st Psalm, beginning in verse 1. I will lift up my eyes to the mountains. Notice, mountains. From where shall my help come? My help comes from the Lord who made heaven and on earth. This is not pagan worship. Pagan worship is to worship the world, creation. True worship is worshiping God, the Creator Himself. Verse 3, He will not allow your foot to slip. He who keeps you will not slumber. Behold, He who keeps Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is your keeper. The Lord is your shade on your right hand. The sun will not smite you by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord will protect you from all evil. He will keep your soul. The Lord will guard your going out and your going and coming in from this time forth and forever. Pilgrimage psalms are some of the favorite psalms of many. They're indicative of our relationship with God and worshiping God and also trusting God, even for us in the new covenant. There are so many examples of going to Jerusalem, but here in Mark, the first chapter, God gives us an example of those leaving Jerusalem. They're leaving Jerusalem to go to the Jordan River to hear John the Baptist preaching. Repent, for the kingdom of God is at hand. The Messiah was coming, and to be ready they must repent. Mark chapter 1, verse 5. And all the country of Judea was going out to him, and all the people of Jerusalem, and they were being baptized by him in the Jordan River, confessing their sins. Why? Well, you'll need to follow with us in today's part 2. In the very next section, we'll look for the explanation of why there was this call to repent, for the Lord was coming the very first time, his first advent, to come to the earth in flesh. We'll see that in part 2 in today's Bible study.